The second COVID virus war has erupted, this one over mask mandates. It pits the rights of the individual citizen against the edicts of politicians and their epidemiologist allies to protect the public health as they see fit. The conflict represented here in two disparate views. On one side, people like Scottish television commentator Neil Oliver.
For me, it's all and only about freedom. For me, without freedom, there is no point in anything. So, take away all the numbers, all the statistics, all the models and predictions, all the promises and threats, all the steel hand in velvet glove coercion. Take all of that away. For me, it all boils down to something simple. I declare that I am a free man.
And on the other side, California Democratic Congressman Ted Lieu, tweeting, "You have no right to spread your respiratory droplets on me, on others, in public spaces and in businesses. The majority of reasonable Americans are going to fight the tyranny of the minority who insist they can leave their saliva anywhere, and we will win." For those who lie between those two extremes, choosing sides has been made confusing by often conflicting recommendations from those in power. 1 month ago, CDC Director Rochelle Walensky was saying those who are fully vaccinated do not need to wear masks in the face of the new COVID Delta variant.
But the bottom line is the CDC still says if you are vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask.
That's exactly right. And what I would say in that context is if you're vaccinated, you are safe from the variants that are circulating here in the United States.
She added, quote, "We'd suggest you look to your local policies. But those policies are varied and often reflect the wider red state, blue state divide over individual freedoms versus the public good." A month later, Walensky and the administration flipped, recommending the fully vaccinated wear masks.
Because the public health leaders in our administration have made the determination based on data that that is a way to make sure they're protected, their loved ones are protected, and that's an extra step given the transmissibility of the virus.
Further complicating the issue, the outliers. People like South Carolina Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, who this week tested positive for the Delta variant despite being fully vaccinated. His case raising the concern of some because of his routine gaggles with Capitol Hill reporters and his having attended a previous night's gathering on a houseboat owned by West Virginia Democratic Senator Joe Manchin.
So let me start with the bad news. Delta is spreading. We know it's extremely contagious, and certainly in some parts of the country like Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, it is reaching very high levels, and we are now once again seeing case levels per day closing in on 100,000, which we haven't seen since February. So this is really a different virus than last year, and everything we learned about COVID a year ago, you got to sort of hit the reset button on now how we need to react to it.
So, for reporters who gaggled with Senator Graham, for senators who attended the houseboat party, there is an added concern.
We also are learning, and this is not particularly good news, that vaccinated people, if they get infected, which is rare, but it does happen, they have pretty high viral loads, which means they could also be passing it on to other people, even though they have a very low risk of getting seriously ill themselves.
Indeed, for people like Graham who've been vaccinated and still test positive, the symptoms are mild. Graham has sinus congestion. Does that warrant fear? And new mask mandates? In a now deleted tweet for which she apologized, the head strategist of the Rhode Island Democratic Party tweeted about Graham's positive COVID test, quote, "It's wrong to hope he dies from COVID, right? Asking for a friend."
I think that the tone and I think there's some exaggeration going on, some hyperbole. Those figures that you just mentioned, yes, the rates are going up, but they're way below what they were a year ago from now. We have put the fire out. It's smoldering in places and could come back up, but the House is not on fire again.
But the House is on fire, at least the House of Representatives, where Speaker Pelosi's order to have staffers arrested if they defy her new mask mandates met with a Republican protest.
Mr. Speaker, if we're going to arrest our staff, I'm making a motion to adjourn.
Question is on the motion to adjourn.
The question is on the motion to adjourn. All those in favor will say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. In the opinion of the chair, the nays have it.
Having lost that vote over Pelosi's threat to arrest the maskless, 50 Republicans stormed out of the House. There are no definitive answers on how to go forward in the face of the Delta variant, and there may be other variants that evolve. It may be that COVID becomes like the flu over time, an ever-present threat for which yearly vaccines become available and for which society adapts. Doug McKelway for the Washington Examiner.